Hey there, good morning. Welcome to Breakfast with Bridgett. The time now 7:30 on this December 28th, 2023. This is the last Friday Eve of the year, and we are excited about it. I hope you're keeping dry and warm. Meteorologist Candace Campos is here with a pretty wet forecast and some cooler temperatures on the way. And Candace, I was joking this morning. Well, really, I was serious. I lost 5 minutes digging around for my rain boots and I cannot find them, but
You know,
we still need them.
I find that when you need something is when you can't find it. Because you will always run into those rain boots all season long, and then
Right.
all of a sudden the day you need it, it's not there.
Right.
So
Who knows where they are?
it is what it is. I mean, the good news is it's not going to be a galoshes kind of weather forecast throughout most of the day. We are going to continue to see a few more peaks of sunshine out there. Conditions will start to dry out just a little bit as we head into kind of the second half of your day, because we have basically an area of low pressure that's moving through today, bringing with it a whole lot of rain. And I don't know if you remember, but a few months ago we were talking about how our winter was going to be a little more wet, but not
Yeah.
technically always wet and cold. And that's because we have more of an El Nino situation where we now are starting to see a lot of moisture coming in from the Gulf. So it feels like every other week we're dealing with some type of disturbance moving in from the Gulf of Mexico. And that's exactly what's happening today. But the good news is behind that low, there's a trailing cold front that's really going to drop those temperatures nicely
Now,
as we head into the end
Candace,
of the year.
you used the F word this morning, though. That caught my attention.
Frost. The frost is going to be pretty much across our northern zone. So Marion, Flagler, northern Lake and Sumter, maybe far northern Seminole County. It doesn't look like
Wow.
it's going to be a big freeze, but frost certainly will be in the
It's
will
enough
be
to
in the
open the
forecast.
shelters.
Yeah, I know Flagler County is opening up their cold shelter. Their Aquatica and Disney are closing their water parks. So it's that traditional check. We're starting to see here in the newsroom. We're our little check marks off of everything that tends to happen when we have this kind of cold stretch.
Yeah.
So let's show you,
Okay.
Bridgett, what we're talking about here. The radar right now, we are dealing with that low you see there across parts of the southern Gulf of Mexico. That's going to be moving in, and then we have a trailing cold front that will also be sliding through central Florida, bringing with it some big time changes. This is a live radar, pretty much light rain all across the area. We've had pockets where it's been a little heavier in some zones, but for the most part, by the end of all of this, we could rack up about a quarter of an inch to maybe a half of an inch of rain. But that kind of nuisance weather will continue throughout the next few hours. Rain chances will start to trend down, though, after lunchtime. We'll start to see the skies clearing from northwest to southeast as that low pushes out. And as we take you here hour by hour, you can see rain chances by about 11 a.m., still about 50%, still a little bit on the soggier side. We will keep the cloud cover in the forecast for the majority of the day, with highs today staying in the mid 60s. Now, the good news is most of the rain should be out of here in time for the Pop-Tarts Bowl. That's later on today at the stadium. We have the NC State Wolfpack versus Kansas State Wildcats. Temperatures by about 6 o'clock around kickoff time there at 5:45 will be at about 61 degrees. And if you're not at the bowl game, you might want to be on the coast, because we have a potential historic weekend or a historic night tonight, a double header launch, both SpaceX. We have a Falcon Heavy as of now scheduled for just after about 8 o'clock tonight. That has about an 80% chance for go. Then we have a Falcon 9 launch at 11:10. That has a 90% shot. Now, the only concern that we are seeing, according to the 45th Weather Squadron, for weather for the launch will be the breeze will be picking up, and we will have some cloud cover. So it's not really the rain that's going to be a concern. It's really going to be the cloud cover. But other than that, though, as we ring in 2024, Bridgett, temperatures will be down into the upper 40s as the clock strikes midnight on Sunday night and into Monday. It is going to be chilly. It's going to be clear. But after today, temperatures will continue to drop. We'll be into the upper 50s, low 60s, Friday, Saturday, and even into Sunday. And then it looks like we could have a reinforcing shot of cold air on Monday, keeping temperatures in the 60s for another day or so. So, it's going to be a nice stretch.
Yeah.
We just have to get through kind of some soggy weather. But there's so much going on across Central Florida. People still have a lot of, holiday and festive, plans going on. So it looks like the weather should
Right.
cooperate as long as you don't have anything outdoors planned between, I don't know, now and lunchtime.
You know, my kids look forward to the fireworks. I prefer shows. I
Okay.
actually like to watch them on TV more, but at least the weather's good for fireworks if you're going to go out and check them out on Sunday
Yeah, no,
night.
absolutely. And the nice thing, those clear skies, sometimes we get those muggy New Year's nights where I feel like the smoke just kind of lingers, kind of
Hmm.
suspended in the air because of all
Hmm.
the moisture. That's not going to be a concern. So we'll have all of that smoke and residue of all the fireworks out of here by Monday morning.
Very nice, very nice. So, rain gear for a few more hours, then
Yes,
get the jackets or the sweater weather
the sweater
mode.
weather.
Okay.
So if you get it, if anybody's watching and got some new sweaters or some new
Hmm.
cold gear outfits, this is the time to use it.
You know what? Those bedroom slippers, always a good stocking
Mm.
stuffer too. So pop those tags, right?
And I got a robe, and I got a robe.
Yes.
You know, we make fun of the moms always getting the robes, but gosh, don't you love a good fluffy robe?
I
It's just the best.
do. I do.
Yeah,
I was going through some things for my donate bin and I came
yeah.
across one of my handy dandy fluffy robes and I'm going to keep it. I'm
You
keeping
have
it.
to. If
Yeah.
you find a good robe, the arm length is nice. It's not too
Hmm.
thick. It's not too thin. It's the
Right.
right length. There's
And
a
hold on
lot
to it.
to think about when it comes to robes.
But they better not give me a robe next Christmas.
No, no. We get
So,
one or two
right.
until you donate the other one.
Right. All right. Well, we'll try to keep it toasty. I like the fireplace graphic you showed us earlier too. Just like
Well, when
warming,
Steve says he's a
warming our
break the
hands.
oh yes, the little hands graphic. Yeah. But I mean, I know you're probably going to talk to Steve right after this, but
Yes.
just be aware the roadways, even though the rain isn't super
Right.
duper heavy, the roads are going to be slick for the next few hours. So
This
just
is
be
true.
prepared.
Yes. So far so good. We're going to check in with him in just a
Fingers
second.
crossed.
Thank you, Candace. Appreciate you.
Sure.
All right. See you later. So, like she mentioned, the roads can be tricky in this weather because it's not a downpour, but there's been rain going for hours now, off and on in patches. And traffic safety expert Trooper Steve has been watching your road since early this morning. And so, how would you sum up? How are things going? Because, I mean, we're in a holiday week, which is working in your favor if you do have to get out here on the roads.
That's true, Bridget. Like on a normal, if this was August or May, I would be saying, well, the roadways are a soup sandwich right now. Surprisingly, I think to what you're saying, the holidays, we are not seeing craziness out on the roadways today, thank goodness. But exactly what Candace is saying, because
Mm-hmm.
it's not a torrential downpour, I think a lot of drivers could underestimate what's going
Yeah.
on out there, thinking that they have their normal faculties going on, and then a crash happens. So we do have to
Mm-hmm.
be very careful, especially this morning, because like you said before you tossed up for me, I love it. I've got so many traffic safety gurus at News 6 that you guys are like, look, it's the holiday mix, but it is benefiting us a little bit because I'm not seeing the heavy delays out there in Seminole or in Osceola like we normally would on a normal time of the year.
Mm-hmm. So less volume, but still it can get slick out there.
Absolutely. I don't think the only thing I'm thinking about right now, though, is I don't got to be a mom to enjoy a good robe because I got a
Oh,
robe too for
you got a robe
Christmas.
too?
So,
Okay. Okay,
oh, I'm
mister.
talking perfect length, nice just past
But
the
do you
knees.
have the slippers yet? You know, because you're a hubby now. You got the slippers, or do
So
you have like
she
sandals?
does she doesn't watch us, so I can she doesn't watch News 6 in the morning, so I can say this. She did get me house slippers,
Okay.
but but it sounds like a drill instructor going through the house because they have plastic bottoms.
Okay. Okay.
So they've been hanging around my bedside right now. I'm waiting for maybe the dog to get a hold of it or something like that. So
So you're not loving them, but it's
not the shoes, but the
okay.
robe. I would wear the robe to work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like it's just like my bath towel. It's like microfiber. Look, let's
Yes.
talk about traffic.
Okay. Yeah. Go
Look,
ahead.
we're gonna get
It's just
we're
that
gonna get
kind
too
of weather, though.
excited.
You know, it makes you think about being cozy. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then you look at this DOT cam downtown, and you don't want to leave your house.
It's
Right
like
now,
what?
traffic is moving pretty good.
They're staying
Go ahead.
home. Everyone's
Yeah,
staying home.
like why get out on the road if you could just watch the road right here with us? So 408 in downtown by Lake Lucerne, Anderson, nice and smooth this morning, no problems. Your drive time, surprisingly, up to speed. This is exactly what we were just saying a second ago. We have bad conditions out there, but not a lot of people on the roadway. 22 minutes Osceola Parkway to Colonial, which is perfect for this time, and a nice 16-minute drive. Now, we did have a problem kick off a little while ago in Seminole, in the city of Longwood. They have opened up a travel lane again, but 434 eastbound, east of I-4, Palm Springs to Rangeline was shut down. They have opened up some travel lanes, so we're in business. John Young 35th, minor crash off to the side there. But the rest of us have kind of cleared out. 528 Central Florida Parkway doing pretty good this morning. Earlier crash at iDrive, 528 cleared. And then the rest of your drive times in the green still, 417 and the Turnpike, and then all across Central Florida, we're sitting okay. But the biggest thing, Bridget, people got to pay attention to is pretty much when you're coming up to these intersections and taking off from the intersections, that fluid from the vehicles have kind of come up from the
Yeah.
asphalt a little bit. I'm sitting here in the truck right now and it's not pouring, but I love learning new things from the people around me and some of the terminology that Candace has used, that nuisance rain.
Right.
It's not like it's pouring outside, but it's just enough to tick you off a little bit to where you're like, are you kidding me
Yeah.
right now?
Yeah.
So people got to pay attention.
Yeah, I'm guilty of the wheels spinning out just because I have a lead foot. And it's not that I mean to spin my wheels to spin out from, red light to green light, but it's just like that's where it's slick right there where cars have been sitting and the road is wet. And then, the light changes
And look,
you sound like you're in a drag race.
Any of y'all watching us right now, Bridget is a rule follower. And if her wheels are spinning, I would, I'm seeing some things. I'm trying to be nice. And she likes to do things the way they're supposed to. And then she tells me all the road complaints. And if her tires are spinning, that means other folks' tires are spinning too. So you just have to be consciously aware of like, okay, I'm getting ready to take off. Let me do it a little softer before I take off. Even results one this morning coming in, I was like, whoa, hold up. Okay, let me pay attention a little bit.
Yeah, it's one of those. So what are you up to later today?
Famous world-renowned intersection, Lee Road and I-4. Everybody here at News 6 hates it. Everybody who watches News 6 hates it. So I figured, why not? Let's go out and watch why we have this distaste for this area so much. And it's going to be the backups. People fail to comply with the traffic signal out there, and then they stack up in the intersection.
Well, and
so
I
that's
think
going to be happening today at 9.
I think, they reworked it a couple years ago. Was that part of the I-4 Ultimate?
Yeah, and then they added that mess on the east side when you're going into Winter Park right there, which you've seen it, the drivers dip in and out all over the place. So we're going to do a observe and report type of situation out there. And you know what I do. I love calling people out. So
yeah, it's rough right through there. So test my patience.
So that will be today at 9 o'clock at clickorlando.com.
Okay, well, we'll see you at 9 o'clock. Be careful because it's dangerous over there.
Yes, ma'am. Good to see you.
See you later. Thanks, Trooper Steve. So we'll get to a little bit of news here. We want to take you to a story by Treasure Roberts. Family and friends are remembering the life of a 17-year-old who was shot to death weeks ago in Marion County. And now the suspect, her boyfriend, is set to appear before a judge today. And Treasure spoke to her loved ones last night at a vigil.
These flowers were placed here with this cross, a memory of Sophia Lugo, as her friends and family honored her with song. They're right in front of this home, which is where Lugo was found dead earlier this month. The loved ones of 17-year-old Sophia Lugo gathered Wednesday for a candlelit vigil, calling for justice. Deputies say Lugo's boyfriend, Saul Garcia Macias, shot and killed her December 10th at his family's home on Northwest 111th Court near Ocala. After hiding for 17 days, he was arrested by Marion County deputies and charged with second-degree murder.
Today when we found out that he had got captured, it brought so much relief to us.
Sophia's aunt, Andrea Lugo Aguirre, is waiting for the day he's sentenced.
I don't know how we are able to be standing right now, but I know that it's because of God.
In the arrest affidavit, deputies note Garcia Macias's mom and her boyfriend were asleep in the house when the gun was fired. The suspect first told them masked men broke in and shot Lugo, then later said he did something to her.
He just took away one of our loved ones and just love her so much.
According to the arrest report, Garcia Macias has had multiple run-ins with law enforcement in the past. In 2013, he was suspected in a string of vehicle burglaries. 8 years later, he fled in a vehicle while the passenger shot at deputies.
Do you feel like if he was arrested previously, this may have never happened?
Yes, I do.
The family planned a gift exchange to celebrate on New Year's Day.
This year, I had Sophia, and it was so hard for me because everything she wanted, I had got everything for her.
The teen who had a knack for drawing was an inspiration to her 9-year-old sister, Elvia Cruz.
I loved her like if she was almost me.
If she could say anything to her big sister,
Even though that she's not here, I'll still miss her either way.
in Marion County, Treasure Roberts, Getting Results, News 6.
Just a heartbreaking story. Of course, we're going to let you know what happens with Garcia Macias in court today. We'll keep you updated later today and on clickorlando.com. In SpaceX news, it could be a busy night. SpaceX is planning to launch 2 rockets in less than 3 hours apart here. The first launch is a Falcon Heavy carrying the military's largest secret X-37B space plane. Liftoff was initially set for earlier this month. SpaceX said there was an issue with the rocket that forced a delay, so launch is set for 8:07 p.m. Then the next one is set for just after 11 p.m. SpaceX plans to send its Falcon 9 rocket with Starlink satellites into orbit. So we'll have it for you live on News 6, clickorlando.com, and of course, News 6 Plus. You never have to miss it. Well, you probably saw this next story on social media. It's a Christmas story. A family in North Carolina, the kids wake up early. They're ready to get Christmas started at the crack of dawn. Well, this little guy did not wait. A 3-year-old got up and took it upon himself to open not just his gifts, but everybody's gifts. And so the parents were a little bit worried when he popped in with a few questions early that morning into their bedroom. Let's take a look.
He came back upstairs and woke my wife up with the request for scissors, which is a relatively terrifying thing to hear as a parent in the middle of the night.
You can say that again. So they rushed to try to rewrap everything before all the other kids woke up because they didn't want to ruin all of Santa's surprises for the siblings. But that story will last them a lifetime, and I'm sure that little guy will not live it down anytime soon. We're going to take a 30-second break. We'll be right back. All righty, we're back. More news for you right now. We want to take you to the latest update on the Paddock Mall shooting. Brian Didlake has more on this. One person was killed in this over the weekend at the mall in Ocala, and the investigation continues. There's now a new piece of evidence in the case. Here's more with Brian.
Just hours after Ocala police posted this clearer picture of a man they say had valuable key evidence in the deadly Paddock Mall shooting, police tell us he has been identified and is cooperating. Ocala police sending out these updated pictures of a man they say took this man's hat. Albert Schell, who was accused of killing one man and injuring a woman at the Paddock Mall this past weekend. That woman is expected to be okay. But a few hours after that post, Ocala police sent out this update saying the man who took the red hat has been identified and is cooperating with us. We now have that hat in our possession. We are continuing our ongoing search for Albert Schell Jr. And we were here Tuesday at Ocala Police Headquarters asking for more information about Schell. A lead investigator, Major Steve Cuppy, telling me this deadly shooting started with some sort of conflict.
That's a tough question to answer. The actions that he did in the mall with so many people around, I would say this, that if you do know where he is, I would ask you not to approach him yourself, but to call law enforcement to make that approach.
We did take a look into Schell's past and found more than 10 cases where Schell was found guilty of either a felony or a misdemeanor. Some of those charges range from battery to retail theft. And although the details surrounding the conflict are still unclear, he did answer my question if shell was a danger to the public.
Some may have a concern whether we're doing anything extra out at the mall. I think we're coming out of the holiday season right now. I think certainly it's not going to be unusual to see some extra law enforcement out there in our public spaces, the mall, the downtown square area, just keeping people having that safe feeling.
Again, Ocala police are urging anyone with any information about Shell or his whereabouts to give them a call. As a reminder, there is a $10,000 reward for any information that can lead to an arrest. We're in Ocala. Brian Ditlake, Getting Results, News 6.
All right, thank you, Brian. Now on to a little bit of lighter news here. Are you headed out to the big bowl game tonight? The Pop-Tarts Bowl is happening tonight at Camping World Stadium, and it is expected to be a huge economic boost for the City Beautiful. They are gearing up for about 40,000 fans to attend the Pop-Tarts Bowl, and this is NC State Wolfpack, that's my brother's alma mater, versus Kansas State Wildcats in the battle for that trophy right there. Look at it. It looks like the football is a toaster, and there are even Pop-Tarts popping right out of there. So, like Candace said, weather should be clear and cool out there tonight for the game. So gearing up for a very nice night for the Pop-Tarts Bowl. And now we want to take a look at a story from our Crystal Moyer. She caught up with a teen who has a very unique hobby that is getting results for the environment and also something interesting that other young people might want to consider getting involved in. Let's take a look.
Hey, it's your News 6 anchor and insider guide, Crystal Moyer here, and the new year is just days away. Can you believe it? You may be looking for a new hobby or wanting to join an interest group. How about beekeeping? A local teen is showing us how to get involved and how crucial bees are to our everyday lives. This busy bee is 17-year-old Miranda Clementel. She says it was a neighbor who got her interested in beekeeping.
I was very interested on what all these flying insects were and these white boxes, and I was just 8 years old, so I just started with just asking some simple questions, and I just fell in love with it.
Now she's got 2 beehives in her own backyard.
My mom was automatically really afraid, and she didn't want me to have bees, and I had to kind of beg her a little bit too, but finally she came around.
Before cracking open the hives, we need to suit up for a bit of protection. Did we just put these on?
Yes, correct. And then we'll put our gloves on. Yeah.
This is so cool. How many times would you say you've been stung?
I've gone and stung a lot. Probably, definitely over 100 stings. Oh. So this is the top, and it's known as the honey super. This frame here, I'm trying to point some things out to you. Yep. So that is known as capped honey, and then over here, right down here, you can see this liquid, and it's uncapped honey, and it's known as, at this point, it's nectar. So once a beekeeper sees that a frame is about 75% full of capped honey, then beekeepers will pull the frame, and they will go ahead and they will extract it.
Bees are a critical part of life.
We rely on these tiny little insects so much for our food production.
Pollinating $15 billion worth of crops in the U.S. each year, according to the USDA, including more than 130 types of fruits, nuts, and vegetables.
Without honeybees, coffee would be so much harder for us to get our hands on. It would be so much more expensive and rare to get because coffee, that crop, it relies heavily on honeybee pollination as well.
Clementel says a healthy hive can hold about 80,000 honeybees. But there's only one queen bee.
There she is, right there in the middle. She's beautiful. Her abdomen, the end part of her body, is a lot longer compared to all the other bees.
Even though it seems Clementel knows just about everything when it comes to bees, she says there's still so much to learn.
Getting to better understand them through science and studying them in labs is probably a big motivation, as well as just being part of perhaps one day the commercial industry where I can have thousands of colonies and really contribute.
Miranda is part of the Orange Blossom Beekeepers Association. It's open to all ages and experience levels. They meet every month and hold workshops. I posted more details on clickorlando.com/insider. In the studio, Crystal Moyer, Getting Results, News 6.
All right. Thank you, Crystal. While you're checking out Insider Online, swing on over to clickorlando.com newsletters. Check out the Central Florida Happenings newsletter produced by our own Brenda here, who is helping me with Breakfast with Bridget this morning. It comes out every Thursday afternoon. Sign up for that. One of the events coming up is the Deleon Dunk. You know how you have the polar plunge? Well, this one involves you jumping into Deleon Springs there. And so you can check that out and many other happenings around Central Florida. Just head over again to clickorlando.com/newsletters. Let us know what you'd like to see here in the mornings. Email me at bwb@wkmg.com. We'll be back tomorrow at 7:30. Have a great day. Tomorrow's the last Friday of the year. Take care.